technology.
All right. Welcome to our 8 o'clock session. This is Brian Whitson. I'm one of the professional leaders, or one of the instructional leaders for professional learning. And we're continuing with our NCVPS virtual learning conference. At this time, we're so excited to have Miss Jane Stevens with us. Jane is a art instructor, and currently right now she is teaching the photography of art, or the art of photography, and also working with our middle school class with digital photography as well. And so Jane is going to talk to us about some of the tips and some of the awesome things that she does. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Jane. And thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. I'm really glad to be here. I just could not pass up the opportunity to brag on some of the art instructors that are working in the art team right now. Everybody that teaches the art courses deserves to be bragged on, but only ask for about 15 minutes. So I'm only going to talk about 6 different strategies that people are using right now to help us build relationships and do a better job with our students and our course content. The first one that I wanted to talk about on the left of the screen is what Nicholas Milner is the first one that I had heard that was doing this. And it was a way to encourage the students to take ownership in the synchronous contacts that we have with the students and let them initiate those. And so he was calling it the required weekly check-in and decided to put it as part of our required live class meeting journal. And our classes in the art department, we all have live class once a week, and I'm not sure how many of the different content areas are doing that, but we're having the live class every week. And so part of that live class, we do a journal entry. And so for part of the journal entry grade, it's a percentage of the points they would get credit for making that required weekly check-in. And so the check-in is geared around the journal questions, and that gives them an opportunity to really get deeper understanding of the content and to ask us anything that they don't quite understand, and we can talk about it and help them better understand the things that are not, coming through for whatever reason. And so I just thought it was a really good idea that he kind of put that on the kids so that they would take ownership in it and have a real reason to reach out and talk to us. Or either, to text with us if they wanted to, or some people, I guess, would do email maybe, but it would be a synchronous contact. And I started doing this as well, and it has been fantastic. I can't tell you how much better. I don't have to chase kids around or try to get hold of them. They call me or they text me, and it's just such a better atmosphere. The vibe is so much better when they reach out first instead of me going and, trying to find them. And I started putting a little bit of a reminder there with that class meeting journal so that they would not forget, because I know people get busy and I get busy with things too, but I did that in my course, and sometimes I'll send out a reminder if I need to. So that was one of the things to do to help build a better relationship, which is working fantastic for me. Anybody that's not doing it, I highly recommend to do that. Okay, and another thing Matt Pasomadakis, he's doing is he's calling it the Friday text back question. And every week he'll send out a question to the kids, and they're just different kinds of questions. Sometimes they're nothing to do with art, and then some other times they might have to do with the content. And so what he'll have is he'll take the answer, and depending on what the kids text him back, he might feature that in a daily announcement, like the one that I have here on the right side of the screen. So this student, his question was, what is your favorite artist and why? And so she sends back the answer of the artist that she really likes. And so he not only features her that way in the daily announcement, but he also can give further information about that artist.
Jane, would you be able to click on that slide so we could see it?
Oh, yes. I didn't know you couldn't.
Yeah, if you'll click on that slide, it should go live for us.
Is it not there now?
What we're seeing is just your PowerPoint when it's in slide view.
Okay.
Can you click on present in your PowerPoint?
I'm not sure.
Okay, can you just click on the slide you want to highlight for us? Like,
Did that make any difference at all? Is that, no?
No, we're still seeing kind of that first slide in slide view.
Okay, well, wait a second.
I know technical crazy is always fun. So,
well, that's not it either, I'm guessing. You're not seeing it now. I'm trying a different view, but.
Yeah, can you go back and go to screen share and see if it'll refresh it?
Okay, I can try.
Okay. So try it now. And I mean, pull up your PowerPoint and see if you can choose that.
Okay, so still not working?
No.
Well, I knew this was going too well. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm just not sure what to do on this end. Okay, so you think I should unscreen share then?
Unscreen share, and can you really quickly email the presentation to me?
Oh boy. I can try to do that. Yes.
Okay. Meanwhile, while we're kind of working on those technical difficulties, I was loving the fact that you were bragging on some of the outstanding work that your colleagues are doing. I think that's definitely an important part of what we do here at NCVPS to really build our teacher leaders. And so I congratulate you on, highlighting their practices and definitely moving forward on that.
Brian, I have sent that to you and I hope that it came through okay. I hope it's not too big.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm working on downloading it now. I'm going to open it up in Google Drive, and as soon as that opens up, how did you find out about these practices that you're sharing with us while we're working on some of the technical aspects?
Well, mainly as an instructional leader in the art department, when I was talking to the teachers about their courses and everything, I just saw things that they were doing then.
Okay, awesome. So just having these powerful learning conversations are definitely making a huge difference. So, what I am seeing now, we're on the slide where you student-initiated weekly synchronous contacts, and I think you were talking about Matt. I always say his name wrong. Samadakis.
I think he pronounces that Samadakis.
Samadakis. Okay, so that's the slide I have up.
Okay.
And and I think you'd already hit what Nicholas Milner did.
Right. Well, I was just saying about Matt and his Friday text back question that not only is he able to have that rapport with the student, but also he can feature what they've said in his daily announcement and sort of as a celebrate, not necessarily for that purpose, but he does. And then you can elaborate on whatever their answer was. Like for hers here, she likes this particular artist. And so he was able to say, and here's more information about him. So it's just another learning, opportunity and a teaching opportunity for the students.
So awesome. Okay, and in looking at this, I see the example he gave is Isabella's favorite artist is Wayne. Is it Thibault?
It's Tybo.
Thank you. Sorry. And she finds the artwork unique and likes the colors he uses. And then it looks like he gave some information on that artist. So that's pretty awesome.
Right, he did. And it's cool because it's something that the kid brought up. It wasn't him saying this is what you need to be learning. It's what they initiated it. And anytime they initiate, it just seems to be a better opportunity.
So exactly. And I love that it's content in with that. So that's awesome. Okay, let me know when you're ready for me to go to the next slide.
We can go on to the next one now.
Okay. All right, it's up.
Great. Okay, so this would be another student-initiated contact. And one thing that Nicholas is doing as well, and he comes up, and I told him, he comes up with the best ideas. I feel like I have great ideas all day long, but I don't always put them into practice. and he seems to always be able to put his into practice. So it's really, really cool, some of the things that he's doing. So one of the things is he'll take the students' work for the daily announcement and celebrate, but he always puts a content question along with that work. Like for this one, it says, how does the artist's use of aperture enhance his composition? And then the students are to reply back to that. Now, I don't think he requires them to reply back, but he does keep up with how many times a kid replies, because he'll do this each day. He puts a student work with a content question and then gets the student's response. And so he uses his communication journal as a way to keep up with it, and so that he can see how many kids are really involved in that and how they're able to articulate their knowledge. And so it's a really, really workable. I mean, he's using not only the daily announcement as an interactive, engaging feature, but he also is using his communication journal as a functional tool. And I just thought I think this one is a genius strategy. I love it. So he can take what they say and he can use it as a formative assessment as well, because, maybe what they said wasn't exactly what it should have been, and he can correct them on that and further their learning. Or he can say, this is exactly what you were supposed to get from the whole question. So it's just a really good way to not only have a rapport with the student, but also to continue enhancing their knowledge.
Awesome. I love all that you guys are doing. And integrating, content with the contact. I mean, that's definitely a win-win for everybody. So great. Are you ready for me to go to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay. We're on the one which is the weekly text prompts, and it looks like it's Jen McCoskey.
Yes, it is, and that is how you say her name. I'm pretty
Yay, sure. I got it right.
You did good. Okay, so one of the things that I think is maybe difficult for some people is to celebrate the student in a way that you really, really get to know them. I mean, I think it's easy for us to get to know them inside of our course content, and we know how their ability and their skill level and what they're learning and where they need more help. But I think it's more difficult to get to know more about them. And one of the things that she did, and I put quotations around the prompt because that's not her word, that's mine. I don't remember exactly what she does here, but she does it every week. And instead of, like, I text my kids and I'll be saying things like, remember to come to live class on Monday, or things like that. But she'll text them like a prompt. Either it's content related or maybe not. Maybe it's just about what's going on currently in the around North Carolina, or maybe it has to do, she might just say something like, what's something really interesting going on in your world right now, or do you have anything that's cool happening in your life? And then they'll just text her back whatever. And she said that when she first starts doing this at the beginning of a semester, she has to ask them for information. She'll prompt them to send her stuff. But then after a couple weeks, and her words were that it just comes flooding in, that they just tell her all kinds of things because they're so eager to share, and she'll put that, with their permission, she'll put it inside the daily announcement. And so it's a really cool way for them, again, to initiate and share what they want to share, knowing that she's going to put it in the announcements if they say it's okay. And so it's just really cool and lighthearted and interesting, and they get to talk about themselves, and sometimes it is content related. Like the one on the right, the photo montage, that's something that was happening that went along with their course content of that week.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I love that it's so personalized, and it's definitely helping instructors connect and get to know their students, and it's a great way to get the students to really open up and share, a lot of information to develop that really positive relationship. So awesome. I love all that we're seeing, and definitely helping us connect with our students and build positive relationships. Awesome. Okay, are you ready for the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is the making real world connections. And it looks like you're one of the ones here, so tell us about the great stuff you're doing.
Well, what I realized was, it seemed like that the real world connections, well, at least for my content, they were usually art related, or they were science related. And they were also really important. And I felt like that just being able to mention it to one kid in their feedback that only they would see, or maybe if it was in a forum and maybe one or two kids would see it, it didn't seem like it had enough impact. And so what I started doing was I would take it as part of the daily announcement, and usually, I mean, there's enough things to put in there, one every day, but sometimes maybe I would only have 3 for that week, so I would only do it, 3 times. And I would take whatever it was, like for instance with this announcement, we're talking about shutter speed, and how you could either freeze the action or you could have motion blur to suggest movement. And so what I decided was I would take an artwork that probably all of the students, because they've had Art 1, would recognize and that they knew about, and try to connect that to what they were doing. And then when I see them actually using that technique, because the techniques that they use, of course they get to pick and choose and they can use the ones they want to, but when I would see them using that particular technique or that skill, then I could mention and bring back up what was in the announcement and that artist, and hopefully make it stick just from having heard it more than one time. It just seemed to me like it had more bang for the effort of being able to say it not just to one kid in their own particular. Even though the feedback is specific and directive, it's still something that everybody could benefit from.
So awesome. I love what you're hearing and seeing. That's great.
And we can go on to the next, Brian. And I think I'm running over time. I hope that's okay.
We have a little buffer, so we are on the last slide, so if you want to go ahead and share that.
One thing that, and like I said earlier, I don't know how many of y'all of the courses require the weekly live class, but we do. And so one thing that Michelle Nelson did, and I thought this was so much fun, and it's just something real small and anybody could do it, was she would pick a secret word. Now our option for the kids to get full credit, if they listen to the archive, as long as they do the journal, they get credit just as if they would attend. And so she would have them they would have a secret word, so she would know for sure that they actually listened to the archive. And it was usually at the very end, and so the people had to listen to the whole thing. And what she was doing was having her kids, letting them pick the secret word. And so it sort of turned into a game, and it's just kind of a fun little way just to add lightheartedness to the class. And I don't know, it seems a little like diminutive and like it really wouldn't matter, but it really put a whole cool, fun vibe on the whole experience. And I just thought that was something for people to maybe consider doing.
Oh, definitely. I love that, the students really got into it and they love that kind of fun vibe. It definitely is kind of quirky enough that I think you'll have a lot of your students buy into it and just run away with it. Awesome.
Sure, and that's exactly what would happen with her, too.
Hey, that's great. As we prepare to conclude here, do you have any final suggestions or any kind of good rules for other instructors who may be viewing this?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I think this is pretty much what I was thinking about, just to share out, and I hope it's new. I hope some people can take away from the time here this evening.
Definitely, I love what you've shared. It's definitely aligned with our 3 pillars and what NCVPS expects our instructors to do, and to build those positive relationships in which we can get our students to do more than they probably even imagined they could. I really appreciate you sharing. It's awesome to see the great work that so many in the art department are doing here at NCVPS. So I thank you for coming and sharing, and please give our kindest regards to your colleagues. And do you think it would be okay if people had more specific questions to contact each of these individually? I know I might be putting you on the spot, but I think they could probably help, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they'd be fine with that. I do. I sure do.
So, okay, awesome. And this has been Jane Stevens with Digital Learning Day 2016 with NCVPS, and we appreciate you sharing with us. And thank you so much, Jane, and enjoy the rest of your Digital Learning Day.
Thank you. You too, Brian. Good night.
Good night. And as just a reminder, we'll have Miss Lydia Richmond coming up at 8:30 to talk about Canva. So if you've ever wanted to be your on graphic design artists, please join us then. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.